This is me, Spoon Beast.
Well, hello everyone. Spoon Beast here, back again with another video. News just seems to keep piling up when I want to talk about other stuff, doesn't it? So this video is going to be comprised of two parts. The first part is going to be talking about some new Smash Brothers news that I dug up, and the main chunk of this video is going to be about PlayStation All-Stars DLC. But first, again, I'm going to warn all of you that at the end of this month, 10 of my uploads are going to be wrestling related, talking about my year-end awards, contributing to Smark Out Moment's Smack Talk show for WWE throughout the year of 2012. This is probably going to be between the dates of the 27th and 29th. I don't know which day is actually going to do it. I have a feeling we're doing it on the 29th. So on the 29th of December, I'm going to upload 10 videos and post them as video responses to each of the Smack Talk, Smark Out Moment 10 awards videos. They give their awards, I give mine. It's going to do 10 uploads. If you do not like wrestling, ignore every single one of them. I'm going to say that right here, right now, beginning of this video, before I dive into anything else, not have it being announced in the middle like last time. It's not title-worthy now that it's been announced already one time before, but there's going to be 10 uploads, end of the month. They're going to be wrestling-related. There's parts 1 and 10. If you do not like wrestling, ignore every single one of them. I'm just giving you fair warning. This is twice now. So now let's move on to what this video is about. So today I just stumbled across some news that's on Super Smash Bros. 4, Wii U, 3DS, whatever the hell you want to call it, because it doesn't have an official name past the Smash Brothers part, that Sakurai has stated that he doesn't want any news to really be available for us to talk about, because he doesn't want wild rumors going on who's going to be in the game, or what stages there's going to be, or maybe what items. He doesn't want a whole bunch of wild speculation. He wants to do a full-on launch for the game, so that everybody can just figure out what's all in it when it comes out. Now, I don't know if anybody, no game actually does that, though. Does that mean you're not going to show us a trailer? You're not going to show us even the name of the title? We have to wait till it comes out worldwide? I take it as this. I see him making kind of announcements for the game at when it's time, at big events. You might hear something at E3, you might hear something at the Tokyo Game Show, and then the rest of the year, split nothing. I don't think he's going to do any daily updates on it like he did with the dojo. You might hear something here or there about it in the build-up to the actual launch for the game, whenever that may be in the next, I'm going to say the next 2 years. Yeah, I'd say. I really don't think it's going to be, 2013. I think it's either going to be released at some point throughout 2014 or 2015, personally. So that gives me a lot of stuff to talk about, but apparently not if this is the route he's going to go. That leaves people who talk about Smash Brothers news kind of dry. But then again, I look at it this way, that I could kind of make up, what I'd like to see. Okay, if they're doing this in secrecy, maybe I could talk about what I'd like to see come out of that secrecy, so to speak. We could think of something like you guys, you think of a lot of great stuff for me to talk about that I haven't even touched upon yet, because all this news keeps coming my way. It just keeps floating and floating and floating, and I've got so much stuff to do this December that it's crazy. I have to do this, I have to do the wish list, a request that everybody gave me on the inbox. Thank you to all of you who contributed to that. And I have to do my wrestling awards, as I am a part of the Smack Talk show. I do contribute to it, so I do need to do my awards. And then this just comes. This wasn't even supposed to be a part of this video. This is supposed to be strictly talking about PlayStation All-Stars DLC and whatnot there. But I thought I'd just give a little talk about it, you know what I mean? So yeah, Sakurai says he does not want any, huge rumors or anything spread like that whenever he opens his mouth about a detail in the game. He wants to keep it very tight-lipped, and you'll probably only hear or see trailers at certain different events where they'll show little tidbits. Kind of like what PlayStation All-Stars did. We didn't even know it was a real game until it was officially announced. Which, in my opinion, they didn't even need to really announce it when they did. They could have just waited all the way till E3 and it would have made a bigger impact. We just figured out a little more about the game at E3. And then we figured out a little bit more here and there until the leaks happened, and then they just stopped doing updates. So I think maybe even less than that. I think you'll hear something big maybe at E3, something big at Tokyo Game Show, and then nothing. And then maybe the next year you'll hear a little bit more here and there at other big-time events. You know, Comic-Con may even be stretching it. Because, you know, they don't really do that shit, do they? Does Nintendo have their own panel there? I don't even know. But yeah, Sakurai does not want to be doing daily updates. He does not want a whole lot of this game being revealed as it's being developed. You know, he doesn't want us going crazy with rumors on who's going to be in the game, what we're going to see, what the content's going to be, how's it going to play out. He wants it all in secrecy. And big ups to him, because, I mean, he is the director, he is the main man in charge, even though Namco Bandai is helping in this development. But I think this rumor kind of shoots down the one I talked about last time, where we could see something at E3, because now I'm even starting to think that we might even not even see a trailer at E3 now, like, and, you know, a whole demo showing some character action, maybe, you know, playable was stretching it, but the demo that I was trying to talk about last time was where kind of like at E3 2007, where they showed it over a big screen. They had, like, Wario, Mario, Peach, and somebody else fighting all on the screen. They were showing the game mechanics and whatnot. This is when their original release date was the end of 2007, which eventually got pushed to early 2008, but that's beside the point. That's what I was talking about. Like it's shown behind, like the presenters are speaking, and the gameplay's being shown, and the mechanics are being shown behind them. And, you know, after maybe a trailer or something. But I think both of those are a big stretch. Even a trailer at this point, like, if he wants to be this tight-lipped about it, I don't see him showing too much things off. But I think really at this point, by E3 2013. This game has been announced to be a project for 2 years now, so you got to be able to give us something, especially after the game's been in development. By that time, it's going to be in development for, I believe, 13, 14 months, with help from, you know, a major gaming, major fighting game, you know, specialists themselves, Namco Bandai. They're behind Tekken and Soul Calibur. So I think we should see something come E3. What it is, I don't know. If we are going to see anything, I'm doubting it now. Because apparently he wants to play secrecy game, so that's that. Now onto the real meat and potatoes of this video, and I will provide links to each article, even Sakurai talking secrecy, in the video description below. Wait for it. You know, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale has officially revealed and announced their first DLC pack. They talked about it initially that Cat from Gravity Rush and Emmet from Starhawke were going to be playable, downloadable characters. We didn't get to see what they look like or anything like that. We were just told that they were eventually going to be part of the roster, and that pack would be released early on in the upcoming year. How early, we don't know, just to be determined early 2013. Recently, we've got screenshots and gameplay footage of both Cat and Emmet in action in All-Stars, and, like, you know, fighting other players and multiplayer and all this, that, and the other. And we have the announcement of a stage that's going to come with the pack. It's a mashup between Heavenly Sword and Wipeout, of all things. Yes, Wipeout. Like, welcome to Wipeout. It actually looks pretty cool from the, you know, the gameplay shots that I've seen of it. But the stage itself isn't really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about, well, yeah, I guess kind of the stage gets into this. We're here to talk about characters and stages, I guess, because apparently these packs are going to work this way. You're going to get 2 characters on a stage. That sounds good to me. That expands things. That's good. It's a good way to start. And what makes this pack even better is that, you know, everybody's going to get it in the first 2 weeks anyway, and it's free for the first 2 weeks. You know, nobody's going to be stupid enough to wait, you know, past the 14-day deadline and go, oh, shit, I got to pay for it now. Maybe somebody who doesn't know about it will have to do that. But I think most of us are going to wait for the day, and we just wait to hear a release date, and we're going to go to the fucking PlayStation Store right away and buy it and download it as, like, ASAP for the game. Like, just, it's as simple as that. Yeah. So, on top of that, it appears I was right, that DLC is the only way to expand your roster and to make more stages and to expand your stage selection. Now, the biggest problem I have with this is that after this pack, they are no longer going to be free. But nobody's going to be, you know, so tight-assed that they're not going to buy any more to expand their roster. I mean, everybody's going to want to be able to play the same characters as everybody else. As soon as another pack is announced, people are going to get that because they're going to want these characters on their roster. They don't want somebody... Everybody's going to want to have the same amount of characters. Nobody's going to just ignore a pack and then just use subtle amount of characters because you got those 2 for free. I know I will be getting every pack that has characters in it, 100%. Maybe even stages, because I'm going to want the same stages other people have. Because stages are fun, stages are cool. I would love to see a Heavy Rain stage. I would love to see Ethan Mars or even Norman Jaden as a playable, fighter in All-Stars. If they can give Nathan Drake, a fighting style, they can give one of them to a fighting style easily. Especially Jaden, because he's got his airy glasses. But even more so if characters don't make it from Heavy Rain, a stage that's gloomy and dark and, it's raining all over the place could mash up well with something else. I'm too lazy to think of a mashup, but it could mash up with something that just breaks apart like some buildings or something. There's plenty of choices. Maybe something from Starhawke can fly in and fuck shit up. I don't know. But that's what I'm here to talk about. Like, these DLCs are going to be the only way to expand not only your character roster, but your stage selection. Like this Heavenly Sword Wipeout stage, for instance, going to be the first stage you can get via DLC along with the characters. And this is how it's going to work. 2 characters in a stage. So I said basically my most requested stage would be, a Heavy Rain stage, and you can mash it up with anything else. As long as it's the main basis of the stage, like, like the Loco Rocco, the Ape Escape. They're all mashed up with something, but they're the main meat and potatoes of the stage. As long as Heavy Rain gets staged like that, it's cool. I would really like to see characters as well. Like Ethan or Norman would be, I think, great additions to the roster. Either one of them. But I see that getting representation. Like Resistance. Resistance is represented in a stage, but it doesn't have a character. I could see Heavy Rain kind of getting the same deal, that you get a stage of Heavy Rain, but you don't really get a character from it. I think the DLCs that are important, and I talk about this in a rant video with Jeremiah Isaiah that we recorded yesterday, along with and Karis Kazooie. Karis Kazooie, and Jeremiah Isaiah, we did a rant video on Crash and Spyro not being in All-Stars and why, the game shouldn't have been made if you can't get the certain characters people want. Because at this point, I believe the game is really undersold copies for being a PlayStation exclusive. I'm hearing it's between 200 and 300,000, and that's not very good for your for a PlayStation exclusive. And I think the main reason it's not drawing so well is because characters that people really expected to see aren't in it. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro being the 2 that I think really need to make the next cut of DLC characters, or at least the next 2. They really need to work hard on getting them into the game. And if they already have them and are just waiting to release them, then so be it. But I think it's more of an issue of Activision not allowing them to get the IPs, or being really tough to hardball into some sort of an agreement. Which sucks. That sucks for the whole roster. It hurts it as a whole to not have these 2 great legendary PlayStation characters part of it. Rayman should definitely be considered. I think he would help the game out a lot. He has a good heritage of PlayStation. Jeremiah agrees as well, so does Karis Kazooie. Gex the Gecko, I think, is somebody who needs to be seen through DLC. Tomba would be great. Even Abe from Oddworld would be fucking awesome. I mean, you already got Serdan, Spike, and Toro for the Japanese Sony mascot. You could add more and Parappa. You can add even more old school characters. Old school fans like that shit. I mean, I played all those games growing up. They'd be awesome additions to the roster. We need a lot more old. There's too much new in this roster. Even the first DLC pack is too new. Both Starhawke and Gravity Rush came out this year. Like, they are brand new characters. There's way too much new in All-Stars. Sure, they're All-Stars. Sure, they're big-time characters. Like, I support Cat being in the game, because I think it's a great cross-promotion for the Vita. Have a big-time Vita character in All-Stars, and they get people to say, wow, this character's pretty kick-ass. I'm Gravity Rush. Maybe I should get a Vita and try that game out. Because from what I've heard, it's a great game for the PS Vita, and I even gave it a vote for in Best Handheld Game for Spike. I don't know if it won. I only know Game of the Year that won, which is The Walking Dead, and I voted for that too, over all the generic other options. But yeah, it's one of those things. You know what I mean? So pick and choose. I think Crash and Spyro are definitely 2 people who need to be in the game to help it out. In terms of sales, I think they definitely need to be a DLC pack for the future if they can make any sort of agreement with Activision and just add more old school characters. Like, we'd love to see Rayman. We'd love to see Gex the Gecko. You know, Taz the Tasmanian Tiger. We'd love to see fucking Tomba. We'd love to see Abe from Oddworld. You know, you got some old school oldies in there. You got Parappa and Sredan. You got Spike. You got Toro. We need more. You know, we need to have a balance here. We need to have just as good as much old as there is new. Like, and then you got people in between, like Kratos, Jack, Ratchet, as well, who are kind of in the middle. And then you got, you know, the newer faces of PlayStation, like Nathan Drake and Sackboy, who are new, but you expected them to be in the game because they're big faces of the current generation. And then you've got completely new characters like Dante, even though he's not new, but the appearance they're using for him in that game is new to the new game that he's going to be starring in. Raiden, you know, he's not a new character either, but his appearance and the way he's going to be playing in the Metal Gear Rising or whatever that's coming out is what he looks like in this to promote that. You know what I mean? You know, Big Daddy, Noriko, they're all recently new. They're not that new, but they're recently new faces of this generation, so I can't really fault them for putting them in. You know, if I could get, you know, if they could get somebody who has more Xbox heritage, but people still know who they are, I'd fucking put them in my game too, so people will buy it. I'm talking about Big Daddy, by the way. You know, we just need more PlayStation and more old. I don't think that's too much to ask for. As I said, I listed off my characters that I'd like to see for DLC. They're probably not going to do that, although I really hope that Crash and Spyro make the cut. There needs to be more stages too. You know, and you might not want to start DLC stages for your DLC characters. Like, maybe make a stage on Gravity Rush. You have Crash and Spyro are going to be in the game. Make a mashup of those two franchises. I think that would mash up very well. You know, I'm not a fan of DLC for games. I think this was a game that should have had all characters on disc, all stages on disc, and you should have had different ways to unlock them. You know, I guess it's kind of cool that it stood its ground by being like, oh yeah, you don't have to unlock shit, except for, like, you know, your icons, your backgrounds, your customizational shit. You know, minions are people who cheer you on in battle. They're like little miniatures of people from the different game franchises that are being represented in the roster. But beyond that, there's no big, huge unlockables. Like, everything's just custom. Everything you unlock is for customization of your profile for the game. That's all it is. From title to icon to background to your minion, it's all just customizing you as a player for the All-Stars universe. There's no content you have to unlock, and stuff, and even customizable stuff for the characters, like their taunts, their intros and outros, and their victory music. You know, it's all stuff that's customizable for characters and yourself. But there's no big content to unlock in the game, and I think that's a major problem, a major hindrance. So DLC is their only way of, like, saying this is how you can expand your roster. This is the only way you can add a stage to your list. I'm not a big fan of that, but it is what it is, and that's the way they're going. So I'm saying this right now, that Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tomba, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Gex the Gecko, Abe from Oddworld, characters like that are people I want to see. They're people that I want to see. A lot, especially Crash and Spyro. I think they need to make the game. Them not being in, I think, is hurting this game. I'll be out there and honest right now. I said this, and I'm going to repeat it again. I said this in the rant video that we did, but I'm going to say it again for hearsay's sake. That Sonic being announced for Brawl helped it a lot. I would say that because he was the most requested character in the game, him being announced got a lot more people jazzed up to buy it when it launched. Myself included, I wanted to see him in Smash Brothers. He's my number one pick. I was like, yes, it's finally happening. Sonic is finally appearing in Super Smash Brothers. And I think it helped with sales. I really do. I think he benefited the game more than Snake did. And Snake was a third-party character as well. Whereas in the opposite, I think Snake himself, if he was featured DLC, would benefit this game a lot. Because he has more heritage at PlayStation. And people would love to play as Snake against, like, Kratos and shit like that. And Crash, you know, Snake is a highly requested character. Cloud and Sora would be a pack I would love to see as well. You know, a Square Enix pack. I would love to see them make the cut as future DLC. Or even in a sequel. But this game's got to do good now to warrant a sequel. So if we're talking strictly DLC and we're trying to make it to 30 characters, I would say add more. Add more. DLC, make us pay, but make your roster go to 30 and I'll be fine with the world. So that's what, like an extra 10 characters. Okay, so Crash, Spyro, Sora, Cloud, Snake, Gex, Ty, Tomba, and whoever's creative enough to throw in another 2, maybe some new faces, or like a Lara Croft, you know, something like that, or, you know, anybody else for that matter. We would love to see. Absolutely love to see. Maybe Wander from Shadow of the Colossus, whatever. Anybody you can think of. Some more retro and people in between. By in between, I mean people from the PlayStation 2. Cloud is more like old school, so is Snake. Even though they've kind of transformed into the current generation, they first made their name on the PlayStation 1. You know? And Crash and Spyro are oldies, but they're legends. Crash and Spyro were the 2 most requested characters for All-Stars. Could you imagine if they had been announced beforehand like Jack and Ratchet were? I think that would have affected sales big time and people would have been more excited to play. Like Crash versus Sackboy and, you know, Spyro versus Ratchet, Crash versus Jack versus Nathan Drake. It's like, oh, it's like Naughty Dog's initial creations going at it anymore. I know Naughty Dog doesn't own Crash anymore, else he'd be in the game right now, but you know what I mean? Every generation of Naughty Dog competing. Awesome. You know, Spyro and Ratchet, that's awesome. That's, you know, Insomniac's 2 major contributions. Even though they don't own Spyro anymore, they did create him. This is the stuff people want to see. And if it comes to be, that's great. If it doesn't, then I think the game is a bit of a bust. I have fun playing it. I think the gameplay is fun. It's a little overkill on the level 1s. I think some characters are a little more higher stack with their level 1s, that they're easier to spam, and the characters I play as are not easy to use their level 1s. I play as Ratchet and I play as Sackboy, and my level 1s aren't that easy to knock people off with. Ratchet's is easier, but it's stiff, and Sackboys you have to be really articulate. You gotta make sure your opponent's stunned in the right position to be able to do like the kick flip to kill them. The level 3s are good to save up for, but you got to be able to survive, or you get, and in 3-minute time, you don't have enough time to save up for a level 3. And everybody else, like Raiden and Kratos and Sweet Tooth and people like that, their level 1s are so easily spammable that people just knock you off super quickly. You know, it's like all your work has gone for nothing. Like, you just fall into people's supers. And you can even retain a super meter, so somebody could kill you with a level 1, they retain the level 1 meter and kill you again. So that's my pet peeve in the combat system, is that some people's level 1s are way too easy to spam, and that, you know, the people online abuse them super bad, like super bad by super bot, you know. But other than that, I like to play. Online is good and functional if you got a good connection. For some reason, the connection works better downstairs and in the family room than it does up here in my room. It's weird. It's like a whole going up the stairs destroys the Wi-Fi connection to the console, yet my computer works perfectly fine up here. But, yeah, just give me your thoughts on everything I've said in this video, who you'd like to see for DLC. I know a lot of you will probably say Crash and Spyro as well for PlayStation Heritage, say Cloud, Snake, Sora, you know, even other oldies you can think of like Gex and Tomba. And stages is great, because for me, I'd like to see, you know, a Heavy Rain stage. I would like to see, you know, a Crash stage, you know, anything like that. Anything creative. Like my favorite stages are the most creative ones in the game. Like I like the Sly Cooper stage, I like the Little Big Planet stage, and I like the Ape Escape stage, and you know, those are based on oldies. You know, an Oddworld stage would be fantastic. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Tell me what you think about all this. I'm all ears. I'll be waiting to see the responses for the comments and any sort of requests for videos in the future. You can inbox me, comment on here, comment on my channel. I love you all. Talk to you later. Peace out, everyone.